What's up racers, RacerBeast here and welcome back to another CSR2 video. So, Tempest 3 Tier 5 challenge. The final challenge in the entire Tempest series and probably one of the hardest one as well, okay? After completing Tempest 3 Tier 5, you can win the Harkness Sesto Elemento, which in my opinion is one of the most useful boss cars out there in the entire game, okay? Now, when it comes to beating Harkness, there are actually a lot of cars in tier 5 that can get the job done without much issues, but in this video I'm going to cover some of them which I feel are the best of the bunch, okay? So my list includes two types of cars, cars that can beat Harkness with just stage 5 setup only, no stage 6 part required at all, okay? And the second category includes cars that do require some stage 6 but are super easy to build, super easy to max out. You will have them maxed out in no time and are probably good for beginners as well, okay? So before getting into the list, let's first have a look at what does it take to beat Harkness. The final boss time is 9.0 seconds, okay? So you will need to beat that time in order to claim the car. The hardest pit trap is 260 miles per hour. It's a half mile race. And the hardest sprint race is a 0 to 100 sprint race where you will need to beat time of around 2.3 seconds, okay? I will mention the link from where I got these numbers in the description. It's an updated one, okay? So with that being said, let's get into the list of our cars. Here we go. Now first, we are going to have a look at some of the cars that can beat Harkness at just stage 5 setup, okay? And one such car that comes to my mind is the Aston Martin Valhalla Concept. This is a very popular car in the game. It is great for beating Tempest. It is great for live racing. It's overall a very good car. Now I have this setup at stage 5 only. So if you look at my upgrades here, I have engine onto stage 5, turbo intake onto stage 5 as well, nitrous, body, tires and transmission, everything on stage 5. I'm missing a few fusions, I think so, but that's not going to be an issue, okay? If you look at the tuning for this setup, let's get into the tuning first. So for me, nitrous all the way to the right, final drive at 2.00, tire pressure at 8 psi. This gives me a dyno of 8.675. So this is way faster than what is required to beat Harkness. Also, if you look at 0 to 100 sprint race, it can run a time of 2.122, which is faster than the required time to beat, and also it beats speed trap of 260 miles per hour very easily, okay? So this car is the perfect car for beating Tempest 3 Tier 5. And if you do have the Valhalla in your garage and if you haven't built it out, you may want to build this one, okay? So with that being said, let's get on to second car in our list. Now another car which can beat Harkness at a stage 5 only setup is the Venom F5 Concept. This car, similar to the Valhalla, is a super low performance point high evo car, and in addition to being Harkness killer, it is also very good in live, okay? So again on this one I have stage 5 setup as well. If you look here, everything is on to stage 5, okay? Engine, tires, turbo, intake, nitrous, body, tires, trans, everything is on stage 5. Let's have a look at the tuning and let's check out the dyno. Here we go. So for me, nitrous all the way to the right, final drive at 2.96 and tire pressure at 8 psi. This gives me a dyno of 8.420, which is way faster than the required time to beat, which is 9.0 seconds. Also, if you look at 0 to 100 sprint race and the speed trap of 260 miles per hour, which is the time required to beat Harkness, this car can do it very easily, okay? No issues at all. So just like the Valhalla, the Venom F5 Concept is a great car, great for Tempest, great for live racing. Actually, since the American road trip has started already, this car at some point in the event series is going to be available in the gold crates for a 20% drop rate, the gold star version. I have the purple star version here, but the gold star version is no different. Now next car in our list is the Jaguar XJ220. Now this is a Legends car, so you may take 1 or 2 months to get this one restored, but once you get past that hurdle, you will have a Harkness killer in your garage. Okay. This car is not that hard to get fusions for. Jaguar fusions are actually relatively easy to collect in this game. So once you have enough fusions, build this one out, install the fusions into this car, tune it, and you are good to go for Tempest 5 tier 3 Tempest 3 tier 5. Okay, so this is on a stage 5 setup only. As you can see here, I have everything on to stage 5. Okay, now let's have a look at the tuning. So as far as the tuning is concerned, I have again nitrous all the way to the right, final drive all the way to the left, and tire pressure at 8 psi. So this gives me a time of 8.699 on a half mile, which is way faster than what is required to beat Harkness. Also, if you look at 0 to 100 sprints and half mile speed trap, that also exceeds what is required to beat Harkness. So this car overall great for beating Tempest, and just like the others, also a very good live racer. So you won't go wrong with this car at all. Okay, so with that being said, let's get on to the next car in our list. Now, just like the Valhalla and the Venom F5 Concept, we have the Bugatti Bolide, which is also great at beating Harkness. It's also a very good live racer. This car is actually a paid car, but it's so popular in the game, a lot of people have it even after it being a paid car. Okay, now this car can also beat Harkness at a stage 5 setup only. So if you look at my upgrades, I have everything at stage 5, as you can see here. Now let's check out the tuning for this setup, and we'll also have a look at the dyno. So as far as the tuning goes, again I have nitrous all the way to the right, final drive all the way to the left, and tire pressure at 8 psi. Now if you look at my dyno, this car at this setup can run 8.4 seconds, which is way faster than the time required to beat Harkness. Also, if you look at the stats for sprint races and speed traps, you will notice that the bolide at this setup has no issues beating those races at all. Okay, so that's bolide for you, a very good car for Tempest overall. Now the next car on this list is another Bugatti, the Bugatti Sento DSC. Now there is actually another spec available for this car, which is the 5 spec, and that one is slightly superior spec for the Sento DSC. I don't have that one, so I cannot show you the 5 spec in this video, but regardless, the blue spec is also very good at beating Harkness. If you look at my setup, again I have everything onto stage 5. As you can see here, all my upgrades are onto stage 5. Okay, so let's check out the tuning now. If you go into the tuning here, I have nitrous at 359 bhp, final drive at 2.60, tire pressure at 8 psi. So this can run a time of 8.579, which is again way faster than what is needed to beat Harkness. Also, this can take care of the speed trap and sprint races as well, as you can see from the stats. Okay, so this car definitely can beat Harkness without any issues, and you won't go wrong at all with the Sento DSC. Okay, so with that being said, let's get on to the next car in our list. Now the next cars in our list are a bunch of Jessicos. So I have here the Jessico Absolute, the Jessico Draco Red, and the normal Jessico as well. Okay, if you have any of the Jessicos in your garage, you won't go wrong if you decide to use any of these in Tempest. All of these cars are Harkness killers. Okay, so let's check out one of them. I have the Absolute on stage 5 setup only, so let's have a look at the tuning for this one. So nitrous all the way to the right, final drive all the way to the left, and tire pressure at 8 psi. Okay, So this car can run 8.174, which is way faster than what is needed to beat Harkness. Also, if you look at speed trap and 0 to 100 sprint, even those numbers are, you know, way greater than what is required to beat Harkness again. Okay, so you won't go wrong with the Jessico at all. This is a great car. In fact, any version of the Jessico is equally great when it comes to beating Harkness. Okay, so with that being said, let's get on to the next car in our list. Now the next car in our list is the McLaren Senna. Again, this is on a stage 5 setup only. And if you have a look at my tuning here, I have nitrous all the way to the right, final drive all on 3.12 and tire pressure on 8 psi. Okay, so this gives me a dyno of 8.652, which again can beat Harkness very easily. Also, if you look at the 0 to 100 sprint race and the half mile speed trap, you will notice even that is more than sufficient to beat Harkness. So that's the Senna for you. Again, a great car for beating Harkness and also a very good live racer if you want to use it outside the scope of Tempest. Okay, now after this one we are going to get into cars that do require some stage 6 parts but are easy to max out and are very good especially for beginners. Okay, so with that being said, let's get on to the next cars in our list. Now next car in our list is the Huracan Coupe. This actually is a very good car for beginners. This is readily available in the dealership for in-game cash. Okay, so once you get this car from the dealership, you will initially have it at 0 stars, but using the Elite Custom system you can eventually star it up. Okay, now this actually is very easy to max out. You can buy multiple of these Huracan Coupes from the dealership, strip them and get Lamborghini Fusions, get stage 6 parts and eventually max out this car. Okay, now if you look at my inventory here, I am missing 10 Fusions, so I'm 10 Fusions away from maxing this one out, but I don't need this to be completely maxed to beat Harkness. If you look at my tuning here, again I have nitrous all the way to the right, final drive at 3.56 and tire pressure at 20 psi. So this gives me a dyno of 8.819. So this is definitely faster than what is needed to beat Harkness. Also if you look at 0 to 100 you know, sprint and the speed trap, in both cases this car can beat those numbers. So this is definitely a great car for beginners if they are looking to beat you know, Harkness and eventually get his Sesto Elemento. So we have a similar car here which is the LB Silhouette Huracan Coupe. Now this one actually shares stage 6 parts with the normal Huracan Coupe, so you can max this one as well in no time. You can buy multiple Huracan Coupes from dealership and get stage 6 parts for this car as well. Okay, now this one is also used a lot in showdowns, so this is definitely one car to eventually max out in your garage. If you look at my inventory here, I have it maxed out, and if you look at my tuning, I have nitrous at 197 bhp, final drive at 2.53 and tire pressure at 8 psi. So if you look at my dyno, this can run an 8.157, which is definitely you know, way faster than what is required to beat Harkness. Also if you look at my speed trap and sprint race numbers, this takes care of that as well. Okay, so again a great car for beating Harkness. You won't go wrong with either of them. You can use the Huracan Coupe as well as the LB Silhouette Huracan Coupe, but the Silhouette Huracan Coupe is a slightly better version, that's all. But regardless, you won't go wrong with any of these two. Okay, so with that being said, let's get on to the next cars in our list. Now the next car in our list is the Toyota GR Supra. This also is a very good car for beginners out there. Now once you get started with the Elite Tuner storyline, you get this car for free, and as long as you are doing the storyline, you keep getting stage 6 and fusions for this car from rare imports for a very long time. Okay, so it's easy to eventually max out this car. I have this almost maxed out. I'm just missing 2 fusions here. And I also have the Elite Customs level maxed out here. This can actually beat Harkness at a stage 5 only setup, but it cuts very close. So you don't want to take that risk, and you might want to max this one out, or at least have some stage 6 in this before taking on Harkness. Now if you go and look at my tuning here, again nitrous all the way to the right, final drive all the way to the left, and tire pressure at 8 psi. Okay, this runs 7.122, which is way faster than what is required to beat Harkness. Also this easily takes care of the sprint and the speed traps. Okay, so no issues there. Again, a great car for taking on Harkness, and a great car overall for beginners. Doesn't matter if you decide to use it for Tempest or for live racing, it is good for both things. Okay, so this is the Toyota GR Supra for you. Now with that being said, we'll get on to the next car in our list. Now next car in our list is the Wastener 570 VX. This actually is a very easy car to max out. It shares stage 6 parts with the original 570S, which is readily available in the dealership. Okay, so you can buy a bunch of those and strip them to get McLaren fusions and stage 6 parts for this one, and eventually max this car out. Okay, if you look at my inventory here, I have all the upgrades, but I'm missing quite a few fusions. So the stats that I'm going to show you for this one are a little bit slower than what this car can actually perform when maxed out. Okay, if you look at my dyno, it can run an 8.825, which can definitely beat the required time of 9.0, but this car can do even better when maxed out. Okay, also if you look at the speed trap and sprint race times here, this shouldn't have any problem beating those as well. So the 570 VX, again very good at beating Harkness, but make sure to max this car out all the way. Okay, just to be safe. So yeah, there you have it, the 570 VX. So those were some of my top picks for beating Harkness and getting his Sesto Elemento. Again, this list includes all the cars that are some of the best in the game for beating Tempest, as well as cars that are readily available to beginners and are easy to build and eventually max out. So hope you find this list helpful. With that being said, this is RacerBeast signing off. See you in another video. Bye.